Voxtur Q3 numbers are out, so let's go over them. Really, the income statement, what I want to go over is without Blue Water, and then here's Blue Water, okay? Because now Blue Water is treated as discontinued operations, even though the company didn't sell it yet, the transaction didn't close yet, but they are reported discontinued operations. So we got to look at it without Blue Water, okay? So Q3, it's pretty much the same in terms of revenue from Q2, right? 8.5 million, 8.5 million. Gross profit margin improved, so it got to the level of what it was in Q1. It dipped in Q2 to 54%, and this quarter was 58%. EBITDA loss was 2 million for the quarter. It was better than the prior quarter, right? Still a loss. So revenues pretty much were the same. Margins improved. EBITDA loss improved. Now, I didn't really have expectations for this quarter, and somebody asked me, well, we had the new CEO. Are we going to see an improvement? And I remember talking to Ryan Marshall. He told me, because he got appointed, at the end of August, right? So August, September. So he gets appointed August, 16 or 17, something like this. So really, by the time you kind of get into the office, familiarize yourself with the situation, the quarter is over, right? So he told me many times, whatever I do, whatever improvements I do, don't count for them to show up in Q3, because I'm not responsible for Q3. I'm any sort of result that I bring to the table, it's Q4. So that's why I wasn't really expecting anything different, even though it was a little bit better on gross profit and on the less loss on EBITDA. Whatever improvements he made, and apparently he's doing great. At least that's what I'm hearing. How great? Well, the numbers are going to speak, right? The numbers are going to hopefully start speaking in Q4. But that's just what I'm hearing. So that's without Blue Water. That's how the quarter looks, right? Pretty much same thing. Now, what happened to Blue Water during the quarter? So Q1, Blue Water's revenues were 4.6 million. Then they were 3.5. And then Q3, they were 2.4. Margins dipped in this quarter to 74%, which is still amazing, but they are not as amazing as they were 87% in Q2. EBITDA for Blue Water was 1.5 million in Q1, almost 2 million in Q2, and then this is a slight loss, EBITDA slight loss in Q3. So what you got to understand for Blue Water, they have, the flow business, which is more stable, and then they have the bulk business, which is whenever they make a big sale of mortgage assets, then they kind of get a brokerage fees. So that is less stable, right? And I know that they had more of those bulk sales in Q1 and Q2, and obviously less in Q3. But also, if you recall me one time talking about how their fixed expenses are about 700 per month, right? And if you take this revenue and you divide it by 3 months, you get about 817. So if you have 817 per month of revenue and your fixed costs are about 700, 750, well, that's why, it doesn't flow to the bottom line. So you really have to have revenues, significantly above, 700 or 750 in order for that to flow to the bottom line. Now, does this make blue water less valuable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because this is a disruptive technology, and whoever the buyer that's looking at this, it's what is this going to create in terms of revenues in the future, right? So a quarter like this quarter is not why Blue Water transaction didn't close yet. Okay? Blue Water transaction didn't close yet is because of the uncertainty with Al-Qureshi. And now that he is gone, for good or bad, now that transaction has less uncertainty because now the buyer can see, okay, are the employees still there? Because there was a fear that they might leave. Are the clients still there? And what's the pipeline, right? Now there is no fear. Oh, if I'm going to leave, I'm going to take employees with me. If I'm going to leave, I'm going to take clients with me, right? So that uncertainty is gone. So now the probability of closing this transaction, I believe, is higher. But anyway, it's Thanksgiving, and I don't feel like talking anymore. But I will say one more thing. Now, if Al-Qureshi delivered a quarter like this, Q2 quarter, with almost 2 million of EBITDA, then Voxtur would have been EBITDA neutral. So all this talk about replacing the board, doing this better, why don't just people shut up and deliver on their own? Right? All that needed to be done for this particular quarter is for Blue Water to deliver the performance that they did in Q2, and the entire Voxtur would have been EBITDA neutral.